Welcome to 100 Days of Stardew Valley Bingo Edition, guest starring Gus, Haley, and starring Aubrey and Bingo. The first of summer was a good humor day, but the first thing I needed to do was stop by Pierre's for some summer seeds that I headed back home to plant before doing a bit of decorating over near the coop and then fishing into the night. On day 30, I spent most of the morning watering my crop before heading over to my girl Haley's house for our daily chat. I ended up walking into a heart event with Emily instead. A shocking dream indeed. What wasn't a dream was then hitting 8 hearts with Haley, meaning I could finally ask her to be my partner. I say finally, but it's only summer too? I'm not sure how, but Haley beat me over to Marnie's ranch, so we caused a bit of mischief there. Okay, who could resist that face? I was a bit low on funds, so I made a few more tea saplings to sell to Pierre in order to purchase the bouquet for Haley, along with a few more blueberry seeds, before heading over to the newly opened ice cream stand to pick up one for Demetrius. Just as I was leaving the area, Haley showed up, freshly showered, so I decided it would be a good time to pop the question. She seemed pretty excited. Maybe too excited? The night was still young, so I took a trip into the mine since today was a good luck day, but I only made it to floor 48 before deciding to call it. There was an earthquake during the night, meaning that I would have access to a new area, or maybe that was just the sound of the mailman stuffing my mailbox with all the letters today. Jeez. Thanks, Pierre, but I'm a step ahead of you. I also got the mayor's quest to find his shorts. I knew where they were. In fact, the whole town probably knew where they were. Honestly though, if Gus were mayor, I think he'd go find his shorts himself, not try to involve an innocent third party with a quasi-unsanitary task. Ugh, I was so mad. So I went to take out my frustrations on the monsters in the mine. Haley does not need to see me like this. After a hard-fought few floors, I made it to floor 50, halfway to the first of hopefully many star drops. All the monster slaying paid off because I hit combat level 3 overnight. After my daily farm chores on day 32, I decided to make my way over to the secret woods with my newly upgraded axe. I would need another house upgrade costing 150 hardwood if I wanted to have children by the end of this 100 days. I know, I'm not even married yet, so I'm putting the cart before the horse a bit. I decided to go have a little chat with our friend Marnie and could see that both she and Shane had questionable items strewn about their room. No, seriously, a book open on the floor like that. I went looking for Jas to try to erase what she witnessed with Shane by giving her trash cookies I'd found before her birthday. Then finished up a bundle in the crafts room before heading back into the mines to try to make at least a little progress, which I did not. I really need a better weapon, and that was probably going to become the catchphrase of this run. After tending to my farm work on day 33, I visited the traveling merchant, only to find that she had a red cabbage seed. Oh my gosh, what? After I got my chin off the floor, I snagged the seed and sang a little happy song, and I ran back to place the cabbage right next to a watchful scarecrow. Guard this with your life. After the excitement of the cabbage seed, I decided to relax by doing some ocean fishing until it was time to head to the saloon to do my usual chatting rounds. Aren't Fridays at Gus's grand? On my way home that night, I placed a sap tapper because I really needed to get a move on with that for the community center. On day 34, I had some weed damage, but my cabbage was okay, so no harm, no foul. And the rest of the day, I really just did some farm cleanup until I stopped by to see Gus. He was super welcoming, as usual. Total mayoral material. Day 35 brought more farm tending and another trip to the traveling merchant. I think my traveling merchant is reading my mind because she brought me a crocus today. Only the snow yam for winter to go. Later, I had a little heart-to-heart with Willie, when honestly I had just stopped by to sell him my latest catch, so that I'd have the funds to have the barn constructed, before taking a trip to the mines for some plant fiber and copper ore. I remembered the spa was now open, so I took a little dip before cleaning up some more of the barn. This extra cleanup session got me to level 6 foraging. It was Gus's birthday on day 36, and the spirits were happy. So happy that they made sure I had one of Gus's loved gifts waiting for me in the cave. So after tending to my farm, I headed over to the saloon to gift the birthday orange to my favorite barkeep, before having Clint break open a few geodes I'd been collecting. I managed to donate quite a few minerals and artifacts to the museum that day. Next, I decided to bite the bullet and purchase a claymore from Marlin to speed up monster slaying in the mines a touch. I tried out my new sword on a monster floor with some amorous slime, and made it to floor 60 before calling it a night, reaching level 4 mining. On day 37, the amazing Gus sent me the recipe for a salmon dinner, and I was so excited to finish bundles that I loaded up my pockets and headed to the community center before I even started caring for my crops. I had hot pepper for the summer crops and a large brown egg for the animal bundle in the pantry. a crocus for winter foraging, a blackberry for fall, and 10 hardwood for the construction bundle in the crafts room, a poppy for the chef, and 10 wheat for fodder on the bulletin board. And then I completed the adventurers and geologist bundle, finishing the boiler room. Not too shocking that this was my first fully completed room. To celebrate, I purchased the 5,000 gold bundle in the vault. Later that afternoon, I gave my lovely girlfriend a flower, hoping to reach 10 hearts by the next rainy day. Then I went fishing to add more donations to the community center. I think I may be addicted to donating. And now only a few missing submissions in the fish tank. Once back at home, I finally took care of my neglected crop and snagged a cloth from the recycling machine. Another dono for my CC addiction. The wonderful Junimos did the cutest dance to activate the minecarts that night, and I reached fishing level 8. Day 38, I neglected my morning crop duties yet again, instead heading into the secret woods for some hardwood and fishing. Then I bought a brown cow named How Now, and although I gave her quartz, Marnie would still not let me into her room to retrieve the infamous shorts. I caught Maru just as she was leaving her house and gave her a birthday strawberry. Gold quality, thank you very much. Today was an annoyed spirit day, so what happened while fishing in the mountain lake shocked the heck out of me. I got my first ancient seed in a treasure chest, oh my gosh. To calm down from all that excitement, I took a quick dip in the spa, then went home to care for my crops with my renewed energy. The luau was today, so I made sure Bingo knew I'd miss him while I was gone, before grabbing the gold star halibut I'd been saving for today. What's with the cherries, you might ask? They were for the artisan bundle at the community center. Once at the luau, I did my social rounds before making the soup a little fishy, though it seemed like the governor was into that kind of thing. On day 40, the Batcave had 2 more oranges laying in wait for my pal Gus and the community center respectively. I decided to water my crops this morning, but my main goal of the day was turning the ancient seed in since the museum had not been available yesterday because of the luau. After a few more turn-ins, I completed the construction bundle at the community center, then checked the traveling cart, but decided not to buy anything. Later that night, I cleared out some more trees on the farm to make 17 tea saplings. On the first rainy day of summer, Caroline sent me the recipe for parsnip soup. What a stellar mom move. I picked a pack of completed melons, 3 were gold star needed for the quality bundle. Then I headed over to give Alex my best egg for his birthday, triggering his heart event featuring good boy Dusty. Since it was a rainy day, I went to check on my heart situation with Haley, but we were sitting at 9 hearts. Not quite high enough for the pendant. I wasn't sure what to do for the evening, so I checked the hat mouse to see if there was anything of interest, but nothing caught my eye. So I went to turn in a red snapper, completing the ocean fish bundle. On day 42, I found out it would be raining again tomorrow, so I mentally prepared for how I could reach 10 hearts with Haley that next day. Luckily, gift giving would reset for the week today, so I'd be able to gift her twice. There was a good variety of fruit in the Batcave, and I had harvested even more items needed for bundles, so I made my way over to the community center to deposit the red cabbage, complete the summer crops bundle, and made another dent in the artisan bundle. Then headed over to Pierre's to, another cutscene. This one with the singular intent of making sure I knew I would not be crossing Prairie King off my bingo sheet. You and me both, Abigail. I donated more artifacts to the museum to pick up my pumpkin seeds for fall, before gifting Haley a sunflower. Still at 9 hearts, but there's still hope if I gift her something good again tomorrow. Then I headed to the mines, where I made it to level 68 before calling it for the night. As I was drifting off to sleep, I realized I had forgotten to check the cart. But I did manage to reach level 6 in farming. Halfway through summer, and if this season was anything like spring, then this would be my second and final chance to snag the marriage pendant until fall. I spent most of the morning cleaning up land around my farm, then grabbed a daffodil I'd set aside for Haley with the hopes of reaching 10 hearts. The flower did the trick, and I earned the achievement Best Friends. Heck yeah! I headed down to the beach to purchase the mermaid's pendant from the old mariner. It would cost me 5,000 gold that I had been saving for the vault bundles, but I was able to sell off a few items to Pierre to snag the crystallarium from the 25,000 gold bundle. I would be placing a jade into the crystallarium in hopes of trading them in for staircases at the desert trader. I headed back to Haley's, but instead of being able to propose, we ended up in a tiny red room that I offered to help decorate. That was not the right answer, but she accepted my proposal even after my blunder, even offering to do all the prep work for the ceremony. Later that night, I hung out in the secret woods fishing and harvesting hardwood, and hit level 7 foraging. Day 44 saw another storm on the horizon. Guess I didn't need to power through that final heart level with Haley after all. And once again, I got a piece of late advice, this time from Lewis. You'd think he'd already know Haley and I were engaged. I'm pretty sure Gus would have known if he was mayor. I caught Marnie on her way to exercise and gave her quartz. officially reaching the heart level needed to enter her room. Now for the unsavory task of entering her room. But first, I stopped by Clint's to upgrade my watering can, as tomorrow the rain would do my watering for me. I made sure the coast was clear, then barged into her room to snag the unmentionables. I hadn't yet decided if I would return them or find some other creative use for them. Back on the farm, I saw that How Now had traveled pretty far from the barn. Maybe I should actually complete the fence. Oh, I see. You don't get your fence pieces back. Well, that's a problem for future me. I took a soak in the spa for a little energy so that I could clear out another section of overgrowth before heading to bed. On day 45, more of my melons were ready to harvest, but I decided to hold off because it was a bad luck day, and I hadn't used fertilizer on these particular crops. I needed 2 more gold quality melons for the community center, so I'd rather wait until the next good luck day to harvest. I spent most of the day fishing by the ocean rock before helping out one of my favorite villagers to make sure their books were in order. As it was Sam's birthday, I bought a pizza from the saloon and headed over to his place. Sam was not home, so I waited. Then waited. He finally showed up close to 9 o'clock. A bit of a waste of an evening, but we were now at 4 hearts. After that, I cleared up more of the trees that had fully grown on my farm before heading to bed for the last night as a single lady. The wedding ceremony was first thing the next morning, and although the forecast called for rain, apparently no clouds could come to rain on our parade. I harvested some melons and now had the 5 needed for the quality crop bundle, just waiting on corn now. I decided to take a trip over to the community center to check on bundle progress and donated a catfish, omelet, and purchased the final 2 bundles in the vault. And then it was time to purchase a milk pail from Marnie, as How Now was now a large cow. I spent some time in the mines and managed to hit level 70 before heading home to clear out more of my farm. I hope Haley doesn't mind me getting home so late. But look at the cutie Junimos fixing the bus. Oh, and I reached level 4 combat. On day 47, I picked the final 2 corn needed for the quality bundle, along with a satisfying blueberry harvest. Then I checked the traveling cart, but didn't buy anything. Instead, I spent a little cash upgrading my hoe to copper, before heading to the desert for the first time. I didn't have much of a plan for my trip here aside from gifting Sandy a flower, though I did end up purchasing honey for the community center. After returning home, I made a trip to the community center to complete the artisan bundle with my newly acquired honey, as well as the quality crops bundle with my gold melons and corn, and the exotic foraging bundle with a coconut, cactus fruit, and oak resin. It was Demetrius's birthday, so I surprised him with a gold strawberry, then immediately discovered why I've had such a hard time finding grapes this season. Next, I headed to the mines where I reached floor 75. On day 48, Demetrius sent me a nautilus shell in the mail. Thank you, thank you. I decided to spend part of the day making progress in the mines and reach level 80 before tooling around town for a bit, eventually making it back to the farm to clear out more trees and rocks. It hadn't felt like I'd done much today, but I hit level 7 farming and level 5 mining. I chose geologist. Haley didn't want to get up on the morning of day 49, and if that isn't a mood, then I don't know what is. Luckily, the spirits were in better humor than Haley, so after tending to my crops, I checked the traveling cart. I eyed a few items there, but ultimately didn't make a purchase, instead picking up my hoe from Clint's in exchange for a steel pickaxe upgrade. It was summer, so the beach was the place to be. Poor Sam, what with Vincent asking all the tough questions. While at the beach, I fished near the ocean rock until my energy waned and I used my last piece of bait. When I got back to my farm, it was still fairly early, so I grabbed a snack and cleaned up additional trees. That night, I reached fishing level 9. It's day 50, so we're halfway through the challenge. So far, we've completed 3 bingo spots, have 5 villagers at 5 hearts, reached level 5 on all skills except combat, have made about 140,000 gold, and completed around 70% of the community center. I had a few more items to drop off for the bulletin board bundles today, before having an awkward conversation with Demetrius. You know I'm married, right? Next, I ordered the big coop upgrade from Robin, then blasted my way in to see the dwarf. Today was the dwarf's birthday, so I brought him a topaz, but I'd only found 2 scrolls, so my thoughtful gift had no impact on our relationship. I made a quick trip to the desert for coconuts to gift Haley, and placed down a musical note to make sure I knew when anyone was coming or going from the farm. I decided I should place some pathing around my crops to better protect them from the spreading grass, and worked on the animal enclosure a little bit more. Still a work in progress, but it's getting there. On day 51, Robin was hard at work upgrading my coop. I decided to make a side trip for tea leaves before turning in the last item needed to earn the treasure trove achievement of receiving Rare Crow number 8. Then I picked up my pickaxe from Clint and dropped off my hoe for a steel upgrade. Gotta get a move on with these tool upgrades. I spent some time that afternoon in the mines finding a few lovely mushroom floors and making it to level 95 before heading home for the night. On Wednesday, I plopped down my new Rare Crow, then dropped off some more items for the bulletin board bundles, finishing the field research bundle for a recycling machine. I purchased a duck named Darkwing while trying to pretend I didn't know why Lewis was actually visiting Marnie. Since it was Willie's birthday, I headed down to his shop to gift him a quartz and pick up some trout soup and bait that I used to catch a sturgeon at the mountain lake, allowing me to finish the lake fish bundle later that night. On day 53, I received the quest to bring George a pepper for his knee. So I packed a pepper into my pack along with 5 gold bars needed to upgrade my watering can with Clint. Then I spent some time hoeing up the mines in search of the final dwarf scroll that I found on floor 95. I was a little excited to finally be able to buy from the dwarf, so I immediately turned in the scroll to receive the Dwarfish Translation Guide. And with my newly acquired verbal prowess, I bought Rare Crow number 6 from the dwarf before hopping back into the mines and earning the star drop waiting for me on floor 100. That night I hit level 5 combat and chose the fighter profession. My first bottle of wine was ready on day 54, but before I took it to the community center, I went over to check the traveling merchant, ultimately not making a purchase. With the wine now deposited, I completed the Enchanter's bundle, leaving only the apples, maki roll, truffles, and a duck feather for the bulletin board completion. I needed fiber for tea saplings and wanted to make more progress in the mines, so I took a dive, and what do you know, I managed to snag the Squire's helmet on floor 106. You know I'm wearing this to fight monsters. I reached floor 110 that evening, acquiring some fancy new boots and hitting level 6 mining. On day 55, I realized that How Now was a lonely cow and I needed truffles before winter, so I asked Robin to upgrade the barn so I could start purchasing the additional animals needed for this run. Then I donned my helmet and took to the mines, reaching floor 115. Once back on the farm, I did some crop and inventory maintenance before crafting a good quantity of tea saplings to make back some of the money spent on the barn upgrade. What a lovely sound. On the final day of summer, Haley watered the crops for me. This would have been a laughably fruitless task, except some of my crops were corn and would survive the changing of the seasons. So, thanks babe. I made some maki rolls for the community center before checking in with our merchant on wheels. I decided to purchase a rare seed this time as it was the last chance before fall, and I bought a large goat milk to give myself some breathing room on how quickly I'd need to purchase animals. I also picked up an eggplant, but I'm not really sure why. But I did turn it into the community center along with the goat's milk and maki roll. We're getting so close on all of these bundles. Then I headed to the mines where I reached the bottom, earning the skull key and access to the desert mines. I had yet to find a prismatic shard, so going to the skull cavern without a decent weapon was going to be dicey. But that was a problem for future me, because tonight was the wonderful season-ending festival on the beach. Alongside my wife, I watched the Jellies dancing mystically under the moonlight and reflected on the season gone by.